Hi, Sue. Hello. What's going on, YouTube? We got Slurps, we got Sue Bear, we got Shadow outside. We actually just introed the 3 of them. We've been working on that one for a little bit. They're getting along good. Really haven't had any major issues. When we do start to intro dogs, you guys know we always start with our pack walks, sharing space, and then when we get them in the yard, we actually keep the dogs on leash, just so we can make leash corrections. I always like to make leash corrections first. You know, and as far as what we're looking for, meaning if we have a dog that's invading another dog's space, getting stiff, you know, where they go up face to face and their fur is standing up, anything we want to correct, it's just a real simple leash correction. You're not yanking the dog, you're just giving them that kind of redirect correction, and you want that to start to set in. After that, we could move to verbal corrections. If you guys have ever seen those pet corrector cans, those can be really good. So it'd be the same thing. Like you'll see some B-roll of Grams here. Hey, good girl. And you could see when she's running up and getting in Linda or some of the other senior space, we just use that can, right? Or you could just make a real loud ch or off call. So they start to associate that. And then the last one is full off leash. And hopefully, if you have a good temperament tester dog, they can start giving them those corrections. But if not, your job is just to lay that groundwork. So anytime new dogs are out, again, we're always starting with on leash corrections. And then we're going to verbal and off leash corrections 99% of the time, unless you have a true behavioral dog. Dogs will figure it out, and they're going to learn to share space and get along just fine. So with these 3, it was pretty easy. I think Sue maybe a day and a half of corrections before she kind of figured it out, and you know, now they all kind of understand each other's boundaries and they're doing good. So anytime we can add a dog to a group, it makes our life exponentially easier, having this many dogs, obviously. You know, all the dogs here don't get along. Not everyone is a good fit from a play style, energy standpoint, but it does make rotate a lot easier. I mean, in a perfect world, your resident dog does good corrections, meaning that they'll growl, show teeth, even is okay, and even kind of an air snap. Go. Those are good corrections and things you actually don't want to correct your resident dog on.
Yeah.
It's the over corrections where you have to step in and correct your resident dog, where that air snap is them going at the other dog. That would be an over correction.
Right. Like if the other dog has already submitted to, okay, sorry,
And they're still going.
and your dog is still going after and correcting, that's when you have to definitely step in and stop the corrections.
Yeah.
But that's how dogs communicate, and that's how they're going to figure it out. I think a lot of people get worried or nervous when dogs start to correct one another. That's how they communicate.
Yep.
It's the over corrections you have to be there for so that it doesn't turn into a fight.
Yeah. So, I mean, stiff body language, staring too long, we have a rule, our 2-second rule. If we have 2 new dogs out here and they're locked in, like eyes locked, staring at each other, 2 seconds max, you break that shit up real quick.
Yeah.
Good girl. Because that'll escalate really bad. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when somebody's walking their dog out in public and somebody wants to come say hi and the owners are chatting and there's 2 dogs face to face that are stiff as heck and nobody's getting the hint, and every time a fight breaks out.
Yeah.
So that's another big one to watch out for. And then outside of that, I mean, you know, there are some little ones, but a lot of it when you're integrating a new dog is going to be play styles. You know, like I said with Grams, you guys are going to see all those videos because that was one where we did have to take weeks for her play style to match everybody else's. With the seniors, these 3 were pretty easy.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just monitoring how they interact and them learning each other's boundaries. Your job is just to make corrections and try and communicate, you know, with the new dog you're introing there. Another thing I'll say, whenever we drop a dog off for a trial run where there are resident dogs involved, the first thing we tell people is remove all the variables you can. So, I mean, food bowls, water bowls, toys, anything that your resident dog might become possessive over, take it out of the equation. The goal the first few days should strictly be for the new dog coming in your home to bond with you and your resident dog. The simpler you can make that, the better.
Well, the Seniors Rock program, kind of came about, the idea came about a few years ago, but we just, I mean, we're still kind of building it, I think, at this point.
Yeah,
because
it's
we have
going really good,
Amanda. Yeah, Amanda's the one that's kind of spearheading the volunteers for that program. But essentially, we rescue adult to senior dogs that have very little medical issues, and we pair them with senior citizens who are potentially on fixed income. They are retired, but can independently take care of themselves. Or they have a caretaker in the house that is going to be responsible for the animal.
We do cover all costs.
Yep.
So it doesn't cost the senior citizens a thing.
Yeah.
And you're also paired with a volunteer, like Steph said. So we take care of vet appointments, grooming appointments, stuff like that. The dog stays legally under our rescue.
Yeah. So they're
so-
essentially a long-term foster
Right.
for the dog. It's
been
a
good.
great program, and we're hoping to expand it this year and get more people on board. And
You do have to be in the Dallas area.
yeah.
We're hoping to expand one day. But right now, just so Steph and I can be hands-on, you know, if we have
If
to go
something
pick up one of the
happens,
dogs for an
right.
appointment, or Amanda. But hopefully one day we can expand. But
Yeah, and
this is,
honestly, we hope that other rescues see this
Yeah.
and try to implement, obviously responsibly, but
Yes.
implement this program within their own rescues, because it's needed.
There's such a need for
there's
it.
such a need for it. And you know, if people like take this idea, we're not the first ones to do it. Frosted Faces in San
Yes.
Diego had the program a few years ago. I don't know if they still have it, but I believe they were one of the first to do it, and they're out in Southern California. But if other rescues can like take this idea and run with it, please.
it.
Like, it's not our idea. It's much needed, and it's a win-win.
We
for
want to
all.
see senior dogs in homes.
Yeah.
That's the end game goal. I don't give a shit
And I
whose
love
idea it
senior
is.
citizens.
I know. They can be fun. They have no filter.
Oh
I
God,
like
no!
it.
It's like the best conversations on the planet.
are.
Is going to like an assisted living or senior community, like zero filter. They tell you exactly what's on their mind. So, yeah, run with it. If other rescues can take it, absolutely. I'm gonna try to scarf down some food. Duke does all the cooking in the house. I do no cooking. He meal preps for himself and for me. If it wasn't for Duke, I think I'd be eating like egg bites, because those are already made, and Quest bars, and what's my new thing? Legendary cinnamon rolls. Yeah, if it's not in a packet or I can't throw it in the microwave, I'm probably not gonna make it. Eggs, I can make eggs. Most of the time they're burnt and the yolk has like bursts in the pan, but it's edible.
Best bet.
Oh, who is that?
Miley.
Who is that?
Hi, Miley.
It's that time of the year where we need to go buy mini pools before they're all out of stock. Mini pools go out of stock typically by middle of June, and you can't find them anywhere. Best bet is to go to Walmart. I think Home Depot has some, but Walmart, you can get like a good sized little mini pool, and each dog gets their own little mini pool in their kennels when they're in there. I think last year we went through so many because we had a dog named George who liked to dig, and he would rip through every single one of those kiddie pools. So we ended up buying that pool for him, and that pool is made out of some crazy sturdy material. And it's the only pool that he could use because he literally ripped through probably like 6 or 7 little mini pools, a little bastard. But they were only like $10 a piece, so we're like, it's fine. But after a while, we're like, this is not fine. It's not fine anymore.
Good girl. Trying to cheat a little bit.
Come. Sit.
Good girl. So some of the dogs, Rosie isn't big on fetch, old senior girl. So just giving her really basic drills can tuck her out. She gets some physical exercise.
Sit.
But it's also mental stimulation for her and having to focus on something. And that can go a long way with some dogs. Good girl.
Yes, good girl. Yes.
Walty Pews!
Sit. Sit. Walter, sit. Good boy. So just doing distraction work.
Break.
Walter, sit. 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 Break.